Hi everybody, Karen Trolfa here. Welcome back to Stampers Club. I'm glad that you have joined me today. I have some really cute little cards to make for you, a little different than I normally do, so it was kind of nice to get outside the box and do a little bit of a stretch. Let me show you what I was playing with. Okay, so the cards that I'm going to make today are with the Desert Details stamp set and the matching Desert Detail dies. This is available as a bundle in the I guess they call it a January through April mini catalog. Actually, I think it was the spring one. Sorry, you'd think I'd know all of these names, but they keep changing them on us, you know? So just the most current little mini catalog. It does end on May 1st of 2023. So don't forget that, and this is one set that's going to be retiring. So if you want this, if you like it, get it now while it's there. These framelits are really kind of nice because they have some really nice elements to them. Things that, aren't just for cutting out the images. This is a very elemental die set. But you have a lot of greetings in this stamp set. Definitely a desert look. And the suite does also come with these really cute little embellishments. They're kind of like they're sequins, but they're all different shaped. And some of them are even like little half moons in here. And then there's also this luscious paper. It's called Dry Brushstroke. You get 2 sheets of each. The one is in the coral and then the blue. So super pretty paper and very reasonably priced too. And it just adds a lot of wow to your project. So let me show you what we're going to make first. Get my supplies out here. Set that aside. Okay, so now I've already pre-cut a few of these items and I'll explain why as we move through our project. But to get started stamping, I guess I could show you what the card's going to look like, right? So it's going to look like that. Isn't that adorable? Wait till you see the second one. It's even cuter. I mean, isn't it just different, right? So let me show you how I made that. So I started with getting my flowers stamped. So I'm using Pale Papaya ink. This is a current in color that is also going to be retiring. So if this is a color that you like, it's a great pale, kind of yellowish orangey. It's called papaya for a reason. It looks like a papaya. And then the other flower I'm going to do in Cajun Craze. Okay, so get those 2 flowers. Yeah, that's kind of dark. Guess that one's a little darker than, see if it'll lighten up. Oh, I might use that one. All right, and then let me get these cut out with the dies. I'm going to grab my platform here. Look at this brand new plates. I just had a big retreat, and my plates there was just so much going on that they just needed to be replaced. And I have a large group of people for 4 days at my events that I do. I'm doing twice a year. They definitely get well loved. I bring all my stuff and you guys get to share it. Everybody gets to play with my stuff. I bring all my stamps, all my punches, all my dies. I have multiple Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines. So let me get that picked up here. Grab my Stampin' Cut, my Big Mac here, right? And get that cut. All right, that out of the way. And isn't that adorable? I'm going to cut this one out just to see if I like this one better once I do it. It's stamped kind of dark, but it might actually look nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself an extra element to play with, and we can see which one we like better. How many times have you guys done that? Done, several different images and played with them in different colors and all that fun stuff. That's the fun part about crafting, right? Getting creative and playing around. So we obviously need those 2 elements, right? And then I had used a piece of the blue, the brushed metallic in the blue, and the way I created that was with both of these elements. So one of these just cuts the inside, So if you wanted to leave a specific square and just cut that little window out, you can. Or you can nest it with this one to get the total frame that I did, but you could also not use this center and have it be just the outline. And this does have a little bit of embossing. I know it's hard to tell with the shine, but there is like some embossing on here too. So you get a nice texture. You got texture on texture because you have that brush stroke, right? And then the piece that gets cut out, I saved for the next card. So that's sitting over there ready to go for my next card. So that's why I started on this one. And then I also used this little element to get just a stripe of the one that's in the coral. So this die gave me that. And again, that has some the textures on it, and it transfers right onto that paper too. So you get, it's almost like embossing and die cutting at the same time. It's kind of fun, huh? All right, so let me show you how I assembled this. This is a half of a sheet of soft succulent, lost my bone folder, soft succulent cardstock that I'm just going to fold in half. You can certainly score this at 4 1/4 and get your crease there, but this works for me. I'm happy with that. Okay, and then I don't have snail. Oh, well, I have liquid glue. That works. All right, so then I took a piece of the Desert Details Designer Series paper, also part of this suite. And I have a piece down here that I'm going to just pop that there. And then here's where some of the magic comes in. So I'm going to use dimensionals. Oh, I should have some little ones. Yeah, I'm going to use little ones. So I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back side of this frame that I cut here. I have some of my those elements didn't come out. Got to make it pretty all the way around, right? So I'm just going to use some of the mini dimensionals and get these kind of around the corners and midway points here. I don't know if you're like me, but I go through this like it's chocolate. These, I'm sure you've heard me say it a million times. I love texture and height and dimension. So very, very rarely will you see me make a card or any other type of a project and not use dimensionals. I've done it once or twice, but not too often. All right, so that, we're just going to center right up over the top of this. I know this is a tough one because he's like so wiggly, but I think if I get him right in the middle there, of course I keep flopping that down, don't I? I'm going to get my top to bottom here. That looks good. All right. And then I'm going to get, let's see, which way did I do this first? I think I did this first. So I'm going to take this, right here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue. Whoa, that's a lot of liquid glue along my edges here, just to help hold it down. And I'll get a couple of dimensionals in there too. If you have this set, feel free to stamp along with me. Power of the video, right? It gets to come, and I'm only putting these here because it's going to nest down in. And I'm going to have this go just a little past there, and then across there, and those dimensionals are holding up that back. But of course I've got like goobers of glue because that just like ran out of there. And I'm just going to snip this off a little bit, right about, that looks good. That's good. Oh, I don't like that little tail. I want to cut it in the middle. There, that looks better. All right. Then I'm going to add a little bit of the ribbon. And I'm going to cut my edges here. a little bit of an angle on that. And that's going to get just laid just straight across here too. Guess I need to cut that a little bit better, a little bit shorter. I can do that after I glue it on. I should have some, oh, here's some old snail. That'll work. I'm just going to get some of that on there. All right. And lay that right across there. Okay, I'm going to sneak in a couple of dimensional behind that just to give it a little support. Over here too. Because again, we're above that window. Oh. All right. I want to trim this just a little bit off the pattern. It's a little too long yet. That's better. Also just not straight either. All right. Then I think I'm going to add this little guy right here. Give him some. This glue is just like, wow. It just, I open it up and it's just oozing out. That doesn't usually happen. I'm just going to add this off to the corner here. You could certainly add a dimensional behind that too if you needed to, because we're going to be covering it up anyway. In fact, I'm going to get, do I have larger dimensionals here, hopefully? Oh yeah, there they are. All right, I'm actually going to put one right here, because that'll also help support my next item. So then we're going to add our beautiful little cactus here. And I'm going to double stack that dimensional that I just put there. I'm going to add one here. Okay. And then we're going to just kind of put that right over the top of those two dimensionals there. Okay. And then, of course, we have our other little lovely flowers. So do I want to use this one that's a little lighter, or this one that's a little darker? Ooh, I kind of like the darker one. So it'll be a totally different look than from what I have on my other card here. So we're going to just kind of pop that down off to the side here like this. I just put that on one dimensional. Now we're going to get our greeting. Make sure I have the right size piece of paper there. Yep. All right, so this is gray granite, and I'm using the greeting that says, "Your smile is pure magic." I think all smiles are pure magic. What do you think? They are to me anyway. All right, so put that there. Get a little banner on the edge here. And let's see, I want this to be, it has to be a little longer. I'm going to lift this up just for a second to get this out of the way and get a little glue on the back of that. So I don't want it to go off the card too far. Keep it on there. And I'm going to get dimensional and get this supported on the back side here. There we go. Let's get my little flower back on there. And he's just going to be right over here just before the greeting. Perfect. And then I'm just using a little piece of linen thread to make a bow. And of course, you know, you can always substitute for a knot. It doesn't have to be a bow, but you know me, ribbon, bows, good at that. So I do 2 bunny ears and then fold the 2 ears over together, just like that. And hold the center and pull my tails back to help keep my ribbon from, and then I hold it with my fingers here and then grab the loops. And that just gives me a nice flatter ribbon. It doesn't curl and twist around, so I still maintain my loops there. And let me get tails on a little bit there, and some glue dots. All right, so this is the one. I usually try to roll these a little when I'm using the linen thread because it's just, they're bigger. And then get the ribbon onto there. And I'm just going to tuck that down underneath, a little bit underneath that other flower, just to give it a little spot there. And then, of course, we have to use these embellishments. So I already have a package open too. All right. So let's get these out. See these cute little half moons? Kind of adorable, aren't they? They're just little special little elements, right? So I'm going to grab one of these big ones. Let's get it. Just gives it another little pizzazz and one of these little half moons. Let's get one of them too. Just a little bit more bling. Gotta have bling, right guys? And then we have one card completed. So a little bit different with the darker flower. So this is with the lighter flower, and then the one with the darker flower. I like them both, but you know, looks good. All right. So the next one I want to show you how to make. Let's get rid of some of my garbage here. Is just lost everything on the floor. Is this one? Okay. So let me show you how I did that. Oh, you know what? Here's what I want to do here first, though. I want to get some of that pale papaya. And I want to get that stamp. Of course, I don't have any spare paper around here. Oh, here's some. Okay. I don't want to get it all over my mat. I should have got a mat out. So I want to get just that little bit of that desert rose one there. All right? Looks good. And I might actually add, why not? Let's just add the little one here too. Get it to match the card, right? I'd love to send this to somebody. So if I haven't done it yet and you leave a comment in the comments, I'll be happy to mail you a card. You just have to email me your snail mail address, and that way I can get it out to you. All right, so again, we have to get some stamping done here. And I'm going to use that same Desert Rose image. Okay, but I'm going to stamp it off once. I'm going to stamp it off once, and then, because I want it to be even lighter. I just want this really kind of a light pale. You almost can't even see it, right? I just want that light pale color. Oh, stuck. Let's see if I move my light a little bit. Whoa, move my light. I not only moved my light, I undid the light. That was like not really good. Huh. That came right off my stand. Let's see if I can get it put back up there. That doesn't usually happen. There we go. Want to still be able to see what I'm doing here, right? All right. And then I'm going to go back to that gray granite. And I'm going to pick another greeting. And this one says, "You are what sunshine feels like." And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of that flower. So I'm going to have my greeting on the back, and with the flower on the background. I almost just stuck my hand in that. Did you guys see that? All right, so let's get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss plates out here, and that flower die again. Let me get that lined up there. That's good. There we go. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned this or not, but I usually try to leave one of my plates as the top, as always being the top plate. I have less chance of the plates warping when I do that, so I try to always preserve one plate for quite some time. And I mean, it'll start to get little impression. You'll start to see little impressions in it, and eventually it'll happen. And then I'll demote it to a bottom plate when my bottom plate starts to get a little too well loved. Because, you know, they only last for so long. So I try to make everything. And then it also works out when you're using foils and things. You don't end up with that funny texture because it's still a smooth plate. All right, so remember I said I was going to save that piece that I cut out of the middle when I did the two dies together. So I had this piece of this paper that was this shape. And then I ended up just kind of getting these out of the middle of it. And it worked out perfectly where I was able to get all three of those pieces out of that center cut that happened. And you're just going to use this die, another little element die. So I ended up being able to get these three fun little elements. And again, it was out of that scrap. And same card base, which is the soft succulent. Half a sheet of 8.5 by 11, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I'm just going to fold it in half. That. And then I have a piece of gray granite. I believe this is 4 by 5.25. And then here's another piece of that Desert Details Designer Series paper. I mean, there's just like such subtle patterns on this. I just love it. This is like, I have almost none left. I have like scraps of that whole package. That's all I have, scraps. And this I only have an 1/8 inch matting. So if I cut that first one at 4 inches wide, this one was cut at 3 7/8. And by 5 and if this one's 5 1/4, then this is at 5 1/8. Now we're going to put that on the card too. My favorite green glue. They call it green glue because it's in a green bottle, but it's white glue. But it does also dry clear. So if you end up with anything where you're dealing with small pieces and you have a little bit of glue that kind of oozes around, don't worry, it dries clear. You won't see it. All right, and then I'm going to get these three guys, get some dimensionals, maybe. Oh, here they are, wrong side. So I'm just going to get a couple of dimensionals on each one here. This was a really different set, definitely different than I've seen in the catalog for in quite a while. Some of my little circles are still in here. The paper is not super thick, but apparently it was just thick enough. All right, so what do I have here? Some blue, I think I'm going to do this way. I'm going to kind of lay them out so I get the color pattern that I want on here. Right. So that's ultimately the way they're going to get laid out. You're going to get two of them that are pretty much touching each other. And then this will find its way in between there. I think I'll start with this one. I think I might put it this way, just to keep the pattern of the paper going. So I'm going to do right about there. And then that way I get my blues kind of traveling. And then this is going to be, I want it to tuck in just a little bit into the notches there. They kind of nest with each other. And then I'll do the same with this one. The air conditioning is going on the fritz down here. It's getting warm in here. I have a new one ordered. Hurricane Ian did a lot of damage to it, so it's on its last leg. And a new one is already on order. All right, so I'm not sure that I like the way I lined that one up. Let me try to move that over just a little bit. There we go, that's a little better. All right, and then this is a vellum circle, and I use the Stitch Shapes circle to cut that out. Oh, before I do that, I'm gonna get some ribbon on there. Let me cut my edges. Ribbon's a little long. I don't know what I did with my ribbon scissors. They're here somewhere. All right, so I'm going to put some tape right on the middle of that. And I'm going to put my circle right over it. Don't worry, we won't be seeing the tape. Right? And then this side's going to be right on top of here. So I'm going to just get some dimensionals on this. One there. One there and one there. I think I'll move this one over just a little bit. Okay. And I'm actually going to double stack these. Because I want this just a little bit further above than the pieces that are behind it. Okay, we're just going to kind of put that in the middle. Okay. And then get some dimensionals on this. Lovely greeting here. Didn't really end up in the right spot. And then we're going to pop that right over. See, you won't even see that adhesive right through there, right? And voila, that one's almost done. But we got to add some bling, right, guys? Definitely got to have bling. So let me get those. Where did they go? Oh, there they are. Let's get some of these going on here. All right, so let's see. I don't want that. Yeah, I can do that one first. We'll put one of these little guys up here. We'll get one with the shape right here. I like to go in that direction. And I'm just going to use one of these little ones. That right down there with the two. Just a little extra bling. And I like that they're just different shapes too, right? So another little fun desert mosaic type style card. And again, let's grab this and let's do it on the back this time. Get that desert detail here. All right. Let's just put it right there. And I think I'm going to even put the greeting on this one. Even though it's a little, I didn't stamp off, it'll still show up. So I'm even going to put the greeting on there. You are what sunshine feels like. Because who doesn't like happy mail, right? Close these up before I wear them. Perfect. So the two cards that I made today with the Desert Details stamp set. I mean, isn't that just a super cute suite? Don't you just love it? So again, thanks for visiting. I'm Karen Trolfa with Stampers Club. And I absolutely enjoy showing you how to use these stamp sets and dies today, and the paper and all of the absolutely beautiful stuff that Stampin' Up! Puts out. If you have any questions, feel free to text me, email me, comment in the comment box. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to continue to get some tips and tricks on how to do some stamping and things like that. But you guys have a great day. Bye now.